As the kickoff of the 2015 NFL season is rapidly approaching, we also know that means more season ending injuries, and we have three more starters who will be out due to injury within the last 3 to 4 days, starting with the least popular of the bunch, Washington linebacker Junior Gillette, who had a standout year a year ago, will now be out for the season with the torn Achilles. Then you got the likes of Jordy Nelson, wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers, who has turned into an elite receiver over the years. He will be out with the torn ACL. And then last but not least, cornerback Orlando Scandrick of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, looks to have a torn ACL and possibly an MCL, and he will definitely be out the rest of the season. And just like that, three starters gone. Three more names to add to the season-ending fatality list. And two of these losses have huge implications on divisional playoff races as well as a possible Super Bowl berth. Man, as a sports fan, you gotta hate injuries. It's the sports equivalency to cancer. It's just something that I want to say F, just like I say F cancer, F injuries. Worst thing in sports. Welcome back to the Best Damn Sports Vlog. Back again to talk NFL. And yes, more NFL injuries as usual. More season-ending injuries as usual. Now I'm just going to jump right into it, starting with Jordy Nelson of the Packers. Standout wide receiver, led the team in receptions, targets last year, and yards. He will be out for the rest of the season. And that's a huge blow to the Green Bay Packers. We know a lot of people had them as the favorites to come out of the NFC this year to dethrone Seattle as the NFC champions. And I was sort of leaning that way, but now I may have to reconsider because Jordy Nelson, yes, Randall Cobb can step in and be their number one with Nelson out of the picture. But there's a big difference between Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb. Jordy Nelson is 6'3", 217 pounds. Randall Cobb is only 5'10", 192. Jordy Nelson is more of a possession receiver, and Randall Cobb, he's more of a speedster, a deep threat. And to be honest, they complement each other well. And I think one will not be as great as they were without the other. But then again, we already know, as Stephen A. Smith would say, the Packers have that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, he's the best quarterback I've ever seen so far in my lifetime. I'm 25 years old. This guy can do everything Peyton Manning and Tom Brady can do, plus get you that 15 yards on the ground on the 3rd and 7 that Brady and Manning could never do. Rodgers can make all the throws and is also a threat from the pocket on the ground. There isn't another quarterback of this stature in the NFL as we speak. So if there is one quarterback who can overcome the loss of Jordy Nelson, it's definitely Aaron Rodgers. So this is a huge loss for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But I sort of do believe in the next man up theory when you have that type of quarterback running your team. Randall Cobb is a smaller target than Jordy Nelson, but I think some way Aaron Rodgers will make it work. Plus, we also know they have Devontae Adams, who they drafted in the second round a year ago. He had about 430 receiving yards last season. They have a lot of hope in him, so he will get his chance to shine and probably be the number 2 receiver for Green Bay. So with Aaron Rodgers, yes, this is a huge blow, but this isn't a blow that completely ends Green Bay's hopes of making it to the Super Bowl and possibly winning it. It does make it a little bit tougher, but with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, you can't be counted out. Now, as far as it goes for Orlando Scandrick, it's pretty messed up in practice. He suffered a torn ACL and MCL. He will be out for the rest of the season. We know Dallas, their one biggest flaw was their defense a year ago. Although they somewhat overachieved defensively, we know last season the secondary was probably the weakest link in their defense. So any starter that they would have lost was going to be a blow. But for it to be to the secondary, that makes it an even huger blow to their defense. Luckily, most likely they'll have Sean Lee back this year, so that's a plus. But to lose Orlando Scandrick, he was pretty much your best cornerback a season ago. 55 tackles, which was sixth best on the entire defense a year ago. He also covers slot receivers, so he's a versatile cornerback. It's a huge loss. He's their best cornerback. They still have Brandon Carr. They still have Morris Claiborne, who hasn't lived up to the hype, but now he'll get his chance to prove. And he also had a quote, I believe, after Scandrick's injury saying he was due for a breakout season. So this will be his year to make his mark and to establish himself as a premier corner in this league, as a worthy starter in this league. Because he's going to have to earn it. This defense won't be great. Losing Scandrick is a huge blow. Their offense also took a hit with DeMarco Murray departing for division rival Philadelphia Eagles. We don't know how the running game is going to be. Luckily, they have Tony Romo, got Des Bryant signed. So with that 1-2 combo, if their defense can just be respectable, they should have a shot in an unpredictable division that is the NFC East. Now, when it comes to Super Bowl hopes, that may be a little far-fetched now, but you never can tell. Their defense overachieved last year. Who's to say they won't? Maybe Morris Claiborne does have that breakout year and establishes himself as a quality cornerback in this league. We'll have to wait and see. But I think the loss of Scandrick will definitely be felt in that secondary this season.